Welcome back to the Cast-Off, guys. Puckett, Benson, Mr. X, now to talk through all 6 of today's contestants, review their work from earlier in the show, and, of course, give our thoughts while the fan voting is starting. Speaking of the fan voting, Ben, it is opening up right now.
It is.
What do our fans need to do to get their favorite caster to the North American Finals?
Show you the casting tags and also exactly what they need to do to vote. So tweet the hashtag of their name. We're going to show you exactly what that is in just a second. Make sure hashtag MLG is being tweeted and hashtag the castoff. And as well, include mlg.tv/ESR. The voting is going to be open as soon as you see the players' names, which is coming up on your screens right now. So you guys can officially start voting as soon as it comes up. There it is. So hashtag Valen, hashtag Smiting, hashtag Fatten, hashtag Maze, hashtag Gizmo, and hashtag Jamie. You can vote as many times as you like, but as I said, you must have the other hashtags, hashtag MLG and hashtag the castoff, in your tweets for your vote to count.
All right, guys, so let's bring it back to the very start of the show. We had Gizmo and Jamie open things up. Overall, really impressive cast from these guys. We want to remind the audience, though, about the duo here, especially those who might have jumped into the show halfway through. So let's host it up here. This is the final 60 seconds from cast number 1.
With just over 1 minute left.
Like we've been saying, the whole cast, get control of that school side, you're going to have an opportunity to score, and that is exactly what they did. They were able to take it in a 2-point play. It wasn't easy. There were some gunfights that had to be win to get it, but they sure enough did get that. Now let's go on board with Beyond. He's going to be the ball carrier, and it looks like they're going to have, if he can go for the 1 here. No, he's going to go for the 2. 2 points for Beyond, and now it is going to be 4-3 with 45 seconds left in this first half of Detroit uplink.
Great example of what happens when you get some school control. You've been losing the whole game, and then now what happens? You guys see that toss for some yardage all the way down. Sentinel trying to get that ball deep in the Atlas base. However, Atlas is going to reset it. Very smart play there. You see that? Oh, now they're going to actually get the ball. Oh, no. He choked 2 resets. Puckett Cornier is going to get the ball, going for the 2-point play, and that's going to put them in the lead with just 20 seconds. Dirk, take it away.
That was so clutch by Connie. He was able to pick up that kill on Hipfon, who was about to reset the ball. Got the kill just in time, so the ball stayed down, picked it up, dove it in for 2. Now 5-4, we have 5 seconds left, and this looks like it is definitely going to go in favor of the Puckett squad. So on the bad side, they were able to take the lead in this first half. That is shocking.
And you love that play at the end, just advancing the ball for yardage, making sure that the Atlas team has no chance of making any comeback in this game. Great game.
All right, so that was our sample. Now, we were very high on both of these casters. In fact, I think I gave them both like above a 90. Yeah. Ben, you said it was like a 1% difference between the two. That sample didn't show everything, though. On camera presence, I think the stronger belongs to Gizmo. He was very confident in front of the camera. You can see that his profession as a meteorologist definitely carrying through into his on-camera presence as a caster. Dirk, not bad camera presence. He was smiley. He looked good on camera, was able to answer all of our questions very comfortably. And honestly, if you listen to that last 60 seconds, I thought he had the stronger cast.
Yeah, you make a great point there. I thought Gizmo had a pretty good cast, and then Dirk had a very good cast as well. But listening to that last 60 seconds, minute, that was really strong from Dirk.
It was good. It was good. And again, for you guys at home, if you want to try and vote for either of Gizmo or Jamie, we'll show you how to do that one more time. Hashtag Jamie or hashtag Gizmo. We'll throw that up on the screen. So we can actually take a look at that live voting as well, because it kind of updates as the votes come in. There you see currently Jamie with a big 36%, Gizmo 39% as well. Make sure you have hashtag MLG. And 25%, 24% from Smiting, as it actually just dropped to almost see it. Again, hashtag MLG and hashtag the castoff in those tweets. Otherwise, your vote will not count.
It's good to see the Smiting fans out there proud and strong right now. Ben, let me know, though, what was your personal opinions between Jamie, I guess Dirk, Jamie is the hashtag we're using, and Gizmo?
The differences?
Yeah, what was your opinion on either two? What made you side with one or the other?
Gizmo started a lot stronger for me.
Yep.
Jamie finished a lot stronger. The transitions were really clear, so it was actually really easy to kind of listen to, which was something that a couple of other people definitely struggled with throughout the semifinals. For me, though, I think Jamie's game knowledge was a little stronger.
A little stronger.
And that's kind of what threw me a little bit further towards him. Play-by-play, they were both very good. On-camera presence, I agreed with you. Gizmo had that one. Honestly, though, I think Jamie could just pip it. I think he could be the stronger of the two.
Yeah, Pipit. I didn't know. What
I
that
didn't
means.
understand it either. I looked at you. I was like,
English language. Pip it at the post, boys.
that word doesn't make any sense.
Well,
Okay.
you're both
Pip it
delusional.
at
Anyway,
the post.
moving on. The second pair.
Yeah, second pair, we saw, a Biolab uplink matchup. This was Smiting Fatty, and who's his partner on this?
Valen.
Excuse me,
It was
Valen.
Valen, yes.
Valen.
Good old Valen.
So this cast, we saw kind of the opposite, where Gizmo and where Jamie were able to open up really strong. These guys kind of lost it in the first 5 seconds.
It was pretty brutal.
I do have to say that they kind of recovered at times. They had strong play-by-play, but it was the same situation where in our first cast, we knew exactly what player to watch. But kind of like in our last cast, when we were watching these two, we didn't know who they were really talking about, which player they wanted us to feature. Matt, were there any glaring issues in the main cast that you saw from both casters?
They just really didn't seem to have a flow of what was going on in the game. I mean, there was a lot of just missed calls. I mean, uplink throws that were just told they weren't going in, went in. I mean,
Playing the drone.
playing the drone when you're in the middle of Biolab, it's kind of hard to do that. There's nowhere to even play the drone from there. Just some generic kind of just throwing statements out there kind of like makes sense for both teams. Like, all right.
Fluff comments.
Yeah.
Unconventional runs. Not unconventional.
It was just a little bit off. But
All right, so both casters had their high points and their low points. Let's listen into the final 60 seconds from their cast.
For the 1-point play, he connects. 5-3, they go up by 2 points.
That was a big play by Proxarity. Now it's going to be on to the drone spawn. Blurpy going to be the first one to grab it. He goes down. Let's see if Puckett's team can get this drone and start an offense.
Yep, I'm watching main hero here. It looks like he's going to be trying to play the reset best as possible. He is going to attempt to pick up that bomb here. There it is. So all 4 members alive for each team here. And it looks like main hero going for the 1-point play. He's been really good at it so far, his team, but he is going to miss that. 22 seconds left. Looking for the 2-piece. He is unable to connect, and that was a fantastic reset there by Mr. X's team. But unfortunately, they are down, and that's not going to help them going into the second side. 9 seconds left, and 3 members down now for Puckett's team. So it looks like we're going to be going into the second half 3-5 in favor of Puckett's team.
I'm really impressed.
Okay, I just caught that on the second time around.
Me too.
So he says, main hero has been really good at these 1-point uplink scores. He's the only person on his team without an uplink score.
Yeah, and I think he kind of caught himself. He says,
Yeah.
main hero's been really good at his team, but didn't really kind of save it
I was like, wait a
completely.
second, yeah.
But to be fair, we didn't catch it live.
No, yeah,
so
we
that
didn't.
means the audience probably didn't catch it live either.
They did now.
They do now.
Good job, Matt.
So, again, when we watched both Smiting and Valen, we saw some issues because they didn't really say correct statements throughout. There was a lot of awkward pauses, blanket statements being shared.
Again, if you want to vote for either of Smiting or Valen, you have hashtag Valen and hashtag Smiting. And make sure you include hashtag MLG and hashtag the castoff in your vote, otherwise it will not count.
All right, so final thoughts on these two, Ben. Let's start with you.
Pretty sloppy. Wasn't that easy to listen to at times. Kind of pained me. Maybe we didn't pad them up correctly. Maybe they should have had a different partner.
Yeah.
There is definitely that. It didn't sound very fluid. It wasn't the best.
There was really no analyst in this duo.
There was individual
there
moments of
wasn't,
brilliance, and then there was kind of like just a cluster of what are you trying to explain,
Right.
if that makes sense. Matt, how about you?
Yeah, I think there was really no analysis and no really play-by-play. It was just kind of back and forth. Sometimes somebody would do play-by-play, the next person would do play-by-play, and then it just became analysis. Both analysis, it just kind of didn't flow. Maybe a better pairing probably would have helped both of them.
Yeah, I think we saw a situation where they knew what the cast was supposed to sound like. They didn't necessarily know how to get it there. But yeah, as you said, definitely some high moments for both players. But out of the 3, I thought this was the weakest duo. So
100%.
let's now go to our last casting setup. You just saw Fattern and Maze here in our final cast. Here's the last 60 seconds.
But beyond, he's now grabbed it, and he looks like he's going to try to wrap it around that backside, coming through glass, and all 4 players are up right now, but there's only 2 for Mr. X's squad. They've done a fantastic job of slaying out, but that 1-player advantage is really just not benefiting them at all, and it looks like they're going to go for another dunk. They do. They're up 8-0 with about 40 seconds left. Not looking good for Mr. X's squad, down 3v4, but George has now picked up. Looks like he's trying to actually go for a point here. He has made it on top of blue. All he's got to do is dunk it in, and he does manage to score, so a little bit of a silver lining there. Playing 3v4 as Mr. George is now got a 2 KD, and the score is now 8-2.
It certainly is. Zeus here trying to keep themselves alive in this half because it's only one more 2-point play that Puckett's team needs in order to be able to seal off their victory for the first side of play here on Upland Comeback. But right now, as you see, that satellite is going to be reset, and that is going to fortify the victory here for Puckett's team. They played outstanding. They also had a little bit of an advantage starting out, but that will be the score at the half, 8-2.
All right, I didn't catch it the first time either, but Mays actually, with a little analysis, he took the opportunity with some dead time to fill it with the fact that if you score 10 points, the round is over and it's going to go.
Right. But is that the right time to do it? When you have 20 seconds left and your team's trying to push? And
right.
go for
No,
that
I think he started it right. He started by calling out Zeus trying to keep his team in it.
Right.
But they still had teammates around that satellite, and they could have. You could have been talking about that.
Right.
Like, can they do this? Can they get a last-second push here? You know,
or even
can they get some big points on the board? A dunk would bring this game much closer going into the second. set.
Even when they hit 7 points, that's kind of a talking point for the rest of the game. Like, okay, they have this huge lead. What are they really playing for the rest of this half? It's like, well, to pad that lead or maybe even hit that 10 mark to really end it and get that stopwatch. I think that's something that would have made it easier on both of them.
One thing that bugged me a lot was I had actually probably
200 million times.
So the actual cast, I think you only had it like twice or 3 times there, but
massive.
Nowhere near as bad as that.
Just kidding.
Nowhere near as bad as that. And I didn't really say that in
You're good. Don't worry about it.
horrible individual.
I am.
You're in a bad mood today. Screw you, Doug. Anyway, if you want to vote for either of those two, you've got hashtag Maze and hashtag Fatten. Make sure you're including hashtag MLG and also hashtag the cast-off for your vote to count.
Where'd the Gizmo fans go?
Dude, Gizmo just fell off.
It was 36-38 in favor of Jamie. Jamie's still holding on to that lead here as we're closing out our final 10 minutes. With that said, guys, we're throwing into commercial break. During the commercial, we're going to stop the clock. We'll tell you who you chose. At the end, the fans vote through one. We'll choose the other after this.